Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today we have our friends from Adesso Capital with us. They're going to talk about the FICA tax credit. Um, Today we are recording this, so if you miss any part of this presentation, you can go ahead and watch it. We will, number one, send it to you via email either this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning, or you can go to our website later on today and you will find the presentation on the front page of wahospitality.org if you're interested in watching it. And if you have any questions, the Q&A button is open down at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and type it in and we will answer those questions as they pop up. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to Damon. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Lisa, for the invite. Thanks to all the attendees, and thanks to Anthony, Stephen, Ken, everybody at WHA. We appreciate the opportunity. I'm just going to kind of dive right in, and I have today with me Eddie Alvarez, Maddie, partners at Adesso, and they're going to show you some things at demo, and we're talking about FICA tip credit today. FICA, I'll let them introduce themselves. I'll make a few remarks here, but FICA tip credit, the acronym, FICA is Federal Insurance Contribution Act. And basically, it's the money that you're paying as restaurant and bar owners in Social Security and Medicare tax on tipped wages, right? So there's a credit back on that. And we've come to find that maybe half of restaurateurs are not taking that credit. So more about that in a second. My background is I'm actually from Seattle, Washington State. I was a restaurant owner in the Seattle area a long time ago. Had a few places, one of them still around, in Belltown. And so I understand better than almost anybody the headwinds you guys are facing with minimum wage and inflation and different just egregious rules that King County's putting out there. So we're here to help. Proud to partner with WHA on ERC and lending. And now we're partnering on FICA tip credit. We just want to make sure that you're all understanding what it is, how to get the credit, and how to get a refund in a lot of these cases. So Eddie, Maddie, would you like to introduce yourselves quickly or briefly?
Sure. My name is Madalena Di Pasquale, and I'm the partnerships manager at Adesso.
Well, yep, and I'm Eddie Alvarez. I background in financial services over 30 years. My area of focus has been always in operations and compliance and product development, and I'm the COO of Adesso.
Do you want to share some slides, Maddie, or should we dive right into the demo, or would you like me just to sort of explain FICA tip credit a little bit more?
I'm on the slides, and then let's go with whatever you'd like to do. Oops, so sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of telling you guys about FICA tip credit. Stop me at any time to ask questions. So again, we think that on average, about half of the restaurateurs in Washington State are not taking this really valuable credit. You can only go back retro 3 years. So if you've been around for 5 or 7 years and you're not taking it, you need to take it right away because you can go back 3 years and capture this. This is a credit. And if you have a pass-through entity, which most restaurants, bars in Washington State would be pass-through entities, an LLC, a partnership, a sub-S corp, you could get a refund if you paid federal tax the last 3 years. So you're either going to get a credit that you can use or carry forward for 20 some odd years or forever indefinitely, or a refund in some cases. So you need to take advantage of this. Again, every tool that you need to face these headwinds of minimum wage increases and the like. And so we're here with solutions, real solutions, and we'd love to help you with this credit. We have experts that can calculate and amend your corporate return, and we can do it like right now. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but as sort of a bonus today, something we're offering to the attendees on this call and probably every WHA member, what we're offering right now is if you're not taking FICA tip credit, and you'll allow us to calculate it and amend your corporate return with our US-based CPAs to properly amend your return and get you the credit and or refund, we're also going to make a contribution of $495 toward your membership dues to WHA because we want to help them with retention to make sure you're all staying around to get their advocacy. So let's skip through some of these slides, Maddie. So restaurant industry experts, actually, go ahead, Eddie. Do you want to? Was that
Oh,
you?
sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is the opportunity and why we're doing this. We're finding restaurant owners aren't taking advantage of this, and oftentimes is because their CPAs are not restaurant specialists. This particular credit that we're talking about, it's available only to the food industry, basically restaurants and bars that have tipped employees. Other tipped employees in other industries don't qualify. So generalist CPAs, aren't as familiar with it, and also it's a little bit of a heavy lift, quite frankly, to go through all the payroll information to be able to calculate this correctly. So, but our CPAs, this is all they do, right? So they know the ins and outs of the industry, and they know this particular credit extremely well, right? So, and we're there to support you with capturing all the information that you may need. Maddie's going to show you in a little while a portal that helps with the gathering of that information, but it's really the human touch where, once when you work with us, somebody's going to be dedicated working with you to make sure that they can answer your questions and get the information we need. There's nothing to lose, right? What we're going to do when you work with us, first thing we're going to do is look at your tax returns, make sure that you haven't already taken advantage of this. We're going to evaluate your payroll information. We're going to tell you, hey, listen, you qualify, or you don't qualify, but you qualify. Here's what we think the opportunity is going to be for you, and as far as what the credit might be, all for free, no obligation. And if you choose to move forward with us, then yes, then at that point, there'll be a fee, right? But there's really nothing for you to lose in working with us, and let us see if what the opportunity is going to be. And in the unlikely event that you get audited, by the way, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to calculate what this FICA tip credit is. Going through, we'll go back 3 years, as Damon said. Look at all your payroll information, calculate it, do the credit form, and then we'll go back and retroactively amend your returns for 1, 2, 3 years, as many years as you've been in business that you haven't taken the credit. And typically that credit does convert into a refund, presuming that you don't already have some other liability with the IRS that this credit would get applied towards. But if you're up to date on your taxes, you can choose to get it refunded to you. Okay. And again, if you're ever audited, we're Adesso, we stand by our work, and we'll answer any questions that the IRS would have based on on the credit or on the amendment. Okay.
So we're going to walk you through the portal that we keep speaking about. And I wanted to point out that if you want to walk through these questions together, this QR code will take you to what we're about to see on my screen. It's quick, easy 11 questions, and it might help to know if you qualify or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, still seeing my screen, Eddie?
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Perfect. So,
okay, so
yeah.
Go ahead, Maddie.
Oh, no, I was just going to say the first question, obviously, if you're applying on behalf of a food or beverage business, which I assume you all are.
Yep. And this, by the way, this doesn't have a bearing, how many employees do you have? It doesn't really have a bearing on whether you qualify or not. It may have a bearing, if you have 0 to 5 employees, there is a cost involved in being able to do the calculations and amend returns. So, if you have less than 5 employees, it may not be worth it for you to do this, but most restaurants have more than that. So that's really why we ask this question. Okay, so your employees have to be able to receive tips. We may eliminate this question because 99.9% of the time, the tips are reported on your employees' W-2s as tips. Rarely it gets reported as wages, but it will need to be reported as tips on the W-2s, and then ultimately the W-3 roll up to be able to claim the credit. The IRS considers tips as those that are voluntary. Okay, so any tips that are mandated, that basically they show up as a service charge on the bill or an auto gratuity, the IRS doesn't consider that a tip, right? So if tips are always voluntary, or if tips are sometimes voluntary, maybe only on larger parties, are you doing auto gratuity, you would qualify for this credit. Okay. We'll work through and look at your past returns, looking for credits that your CPA may have missed. So this question is just to gauge, have you actually filed any taxes yet based on tenure?
Okay. It gathers the name. We could do a little demo here. Of course, your email address. And what it essentially just prompts you to is being able to create a login for our portal. I have one already created, and a really nice feature. Oh, great. So sorry. Is Eddie, do you have a password, a demo that I could use?
Oh, I should delete some of my files, so I don't.
I know.
Right now.
I actually think I did. So let's finish doing this one, just because.
Okay. You'll use that. Perfect.
Use my phone number. Where I was going is that once you log in, they have you have a security measure, so that you get a text with your phone to make sure, since you have such private data, that you are then letting us know that it is you logging in and the percentage of your business. All right. It's exciting. You had, with your questions, you have now qualified. And then it takes what you've already given us, and we can create a password.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I apologize again.
It recognizes the phone number, knows you have an account.
Perfect. I'm gonna go off screen and just recover this for a second while you guys talk. Sorry about that. So maybe if there's questions right now while I recover this password.
I have a question for you. What is the typical credit or refund that you guys are seeing?
Eddie, you want to take it? I mean, I'm thinking it's 40,000 when you go back retro 3 years. We've done credits and refunds. We had a credit for over $1 million. That was for a restaurant group that wasn't taking FICA tip credit. Another group out of Texas, maybe 600,000-700,000. So they can get really large for restaurant groups or a single store, but average would be about 40,000. That's a credit. And again, a lot of members would qualify for a refund. It's just based on several things. It has to be a pass-through entity. And if you paid federal tax the last few years, your portion of the, your units or shares, you could get a refund. So get a lot of refunds out of this too. So cash, from the IRS. So amazing program that everybody needs to take advantage of to push back on those, what I just called headwinds, minimum wage increases.
I was knocked off. I'm back.
At least I think you're muted.
So sorry about that. Are
That's fine.
nonprofits that have a restaurant and bar eligible?
Eddie, have you gotten that question before? Nonprofits? I'm sure they would be if
Yeah,
they're paying tax on tipped wages. Yeah, they should be eligible.
correct.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience? Mhm.
Okay, I apologize. My email is not really working, so I can't recover my password. So it will be a really fun journey. You get to see what's beyond the qualifying questions.
We have another question from the audience while you're
Okay.
still working.
Perfect, thank you.
Assuming it also applies to hotels with restaurants and or banquets?
Correct.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. We would just want to segregate those employees that are working, that are getting tips, through the restaurant or room service, and that's where we calculate the credit from.
What is the cost of the program or how it's calculated?
Yeah, great question. So basically, what we'll do again to assess your information and determine if you're eligible and estimate how much the credit would be. We're not charging anything. If you decide to move forward with us, we'll charge a percentage of what you get back, right? So the typical fee is 15%, which is to do the FICA tip calculation, to fill out the FICA tip credit form 8846, and to amend your business tax returns, going back, up to 3 years.
All right, how we doing, Maddie?
Not well, I'm really so sorry.
It's all right. So we can just show them what we
Okay.
can, Maddie. I mean, the portal is very user friendly and it works. We're doing hundreds of these. So I think it's more important just to answer any questions that are outstanding and then show them the QR code if they'd like to get started to see if they've taken it or not. That's the only really eligibility question. Are you taking it or not? If you're not, we'd love to help again and make a nice healthy contribution towards your membership dues to make sure you stick around with the WHA because you need them. And we're just here to help. And we'd love to do your FICA tip credit for you. If you're not taking it, and go back the retro 3 years and amend your returns to get you that credit and or refund. So that's where we're at. But Lisa, happy to answer any other questions
Yeah.
any members have.
The last question that we had before this, she said, great. She worked with you on the ERC for her 2 LLCs and her 1 sub S. So she's worked with you before. We have a question about the minimum wage threshold. What about that?
Yeah, great question. There is a federal minimum wage threshold 525 that's used for this particular purpose. So if you're paying more than 525 an hour, nothing to worry about. If you're paying less than 525 in those states that allow it, let's say you're paying $4 an hour, then plus then tips. There's a calculation that we have to do because first we have to, bring up the credits up to that 525 level, and then the credit would apply, beyond, getting the each employee up to that 525. So yes, it's some additional calculations that we have to do. Might reduce, the credit of what would otherwise be received if everybody was making over 525 an hour. But that's, again, just part of the work that our CPAs do in doing the calculations.
One of our questions is they're looking for a clarification on auto gratuity. Is it eligible or not? That's a little unclear to them.
Yeah. Okay. So if 100% of the time you do auto gratuity, right, then the IRS, very specifically says, hey, we don't consider that a tip, right? And so then we wouldn't be able to apply tip credit to, to that revenue that you receive based on the auto gratuity. If you sometimes do, sometimes don't, then again, more work on our side, but this is, again, what we do. Then we'll go through and work with their POS information to be able to calculate the credit on that portion, which was, not an auto gratuity.
So Washington State's minimum wage is $16.66, and we don't get a tip credit for that. Are members still eligible for this?
Yeah. So again, the minimum wage, the only bearing it has on this is if on those states where you can pay less than $5.25 an hour, we have to do some extra calculations. It usually reduces, the credit. In Washington State, it's it has no bearing, and you do get the full benefit of FICA tip credit because you are already paying above the $5.25.
So let me jump in and say one quick thing. Some states that have a tip credit, so people, owners will conflate that tip credit with FICA tip credit, and now we have no tax on tips, which is new. So there's some confusion with all the tips and credits and tax, et cetera. An easy way to think about it is FICA tip credit is sort of like no tax on tips, but for the employer, not the employee, right? So that's your money back that you're paying in tax on tipped wages. That's what it is. So, but Eddie, great job in answering that tax or the minimum wage question.
Yeah. No, and thanks for clarifying that. Yeah.
And I did get access if anyone.
Yay!
Thank you so much for the patience. But just to be able to finalize this will be really great. So
Maddie proved that if you forget your password, you can still get in. The password recovery works.
Yes, we're so secure. You can't even get into your own account sometimes.
Yeah. So basically, here's, this is what you see when you get into the portal. Again, on the top right hand corner, most important thing is who's working with you, right? So you'll see, the name of your dedicated advisor, where you'll be able to schedule appointments with her, be able to message with her through a link, phone number you could always call, right? So that's number one. You have a lifeline there. What we're at, these blocks just say, hey, this is the information we need. We usually ask customers this can be done in any order. Said, hey, go to, before you do anything, go to box number 4 and, upload your tax returns, right? Your business tax returns. Let us take a look at it. Let us look for what the opportunity is. We'll do that immediately and then give you feedback and say, hey, yeah, it looks like there's a good opportunity for you. Then we'll, and you upload everything securely, directly, to the agent, through our system here through this portal. Okay. And then the same, with if the opportunity is there, then we'll ask you, to provide us your payroll summaries, from which we'll be able to actually do the calculations. And the rest is just some basic contact information or about your business and the different locations that you have. Okay. So the process is very, very straightforward. We do all the work for you.
And here's that QR code again, if anyone is wanting to go through these qualifying questions right after this call.
All right. And if there are any more questions, you could go ahead and ask them now.
While we're waiting, Lisa, I guess, again, I can't say enough, like what we do, like our mission at Adesso is we're not only partners with WHA, but probably the majority, 40 plus of the state restaurant associations and lodging. And we're proud of that. And that's our wheelhouse, is helping restaurant, bar, lodging owners. And I read Anthony's newsletters to your members every week, every month, whenever I get them. And it's meaningful to me, having, come from Seattle, former restaurateur. We want to help in any way we can We have a full suite of lending products. And we also think, WHA has their own credit card processing program. And if you're paying too much, you should use the WHA program. I'm advocating for that. And absolutely, if you're not taking FICA tip credit, you have to do that. We want to help you. We're good at it. We can do it today without any delay. We want to help you with your membership dues. We just want to remain a great partner of WHA because we really believe in what they're doing as the biggest advocate for you, the restaurateur, bar owner, and lodging owner. So we're proud of what we do and just love this partnership. We want to help. So are there questions remaining, Lisa?
Not yet. I want to thank everybody for coming today. And again, this will be up on our website later on today. And we will email everyone who registered. So if they missed it, they have the link to watch the video. And if you came anyway, you'll still get the link to watch the video. So thank you all so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, one more question.
Oh.
If I have 3 different companies, do I need to make 3 different separate sign-ins?
Good question. No, we'll do one. And then through, again, through the same portal for the one, upload all the documents, and we'll create the 3 separate, the 3 different accounts on our side.
Last call for a question.
Mhm.
All right. Again, thank you all so much. This was very helpful information today, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, WHA.
Bye-bye.
Bye.